Hello, 9th standard. Have a good day. Now we'll continue our video session number 6. We are doing tissues. Under that, we have learned plant tissues. What are all? As plant tissues are classified into meristematic and permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues are as apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Whereas permanent tissues are simple permanent and complex permanent tissues. Simple permanent tissues are parenchyma, parenchyma and sclerenchyma. Whereas complex permanent tissues are xylem and phloem. Xylem composed of xylem elements or xylem components as xylem tracheids, xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Same way, phloem is composed of phloem C-tube, companion cell, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. That description we have seen in video session 3 and 4. Right? And video 5 we are continuing with the animal tissues where we have learned as epithelial tissues, connective tissues, muscle tissue and nervous tissue. And epithelial tissues are squamous epithelium, ciliated epithelium, columnar epithelium, cuboidal epithelium and glandular epithelium. Whereas connective tissues, they are further classified into connective tissue proper, under that areolar and adipose tissue, then supportive connective tissue was learned as bone and cartilage, and dense connective tissue, tendons and ligaments. And fluid connective tissue we are going to continue. I hope you understand. The tissues lay, especially animal tissues, that too epithelial tissues, the location is very important. In which part of the internal organs these tissues are lying, that is important. Of course, diagram you have to learn. I hope you understand. So now we will continue fluid connective tissue. It is as two types, blood and the lymph. As I already said in earlier classes, blood is a liquid tissue circulated in the blood vessels. The major blood vessels are aorta and vena cava, which are branching into aorta branching into arteries and vena cava branching into veins. I hope you remember that. 7th level sum. Yeah. And then this lymph is another fluid tissue circulating in our body, that is called lymphatic system. And that lymph, it is mainly with the plasma content, mainly similar to blood plasma and WBC. Lymph is formed of WBC and plasma. And other particulars. Now, blood is a connective tissue, liquid connective tissue, where it is formed of blood plasma fluid portion. Blood plasma fluid portion and solid corpuscles. And these solid corpuscles are RBC, WBC and blood platelets. Solid corpuscles are RBC, WBC and blood platelets. So now this RBC, it is red blood corpuscles, also called erythrocytes. Red blood corpuscles or erythrocytes. Whereas WBC, it is called white blood corpuscles or leukocytes. Okay, and this is blood platelets or megakaryocytes. I hope you understand this. So now this erythrocytes First, it has size and shape as disc shape and biconcave in nature. RBC, erythrocytes on red blood corpuscles, it is disc shape and biconcave, and they are arranged like a coin, and it is forming the disc shape arranged like a coin. Okay, and this light detector arranged like a coin. Okay, and this erythrocytes, it is produced by bone marrow. It is produced in the bone marrow. RBC, they are produced in bone marrow, and it is destroyed in liver and spleen. It is destroyed in liver and spleen, and its lifespan of RBC is 100 to 120 days. Okay, and then RBC is having a red pigment, hemoglobin. RBC is having a red pigment, hemoglobin, which carries oxygen. So as it carries oxygen, its life activity is carried out. So mature mammalian RBC, most of the matured RBC except amphibian, this RBC will not have nucleus. I hope you understand. RBCs will not have nucleus. Okay, so I repeat, RBC, it has disc shape, biconcave, and then they are piled up like a coin. They are produced in the bone marrow, destroyed in the liver and spleen, and the lifespan is 100 to 120 days. So the 100 to 120 days it is destroyed in the liver and spleen. In the liver and the destroy among the liver bile pigments for the digestive system. That is as bilirubin and biliverdin. The bile pigments are, it is the RBC, when it is destroyed, it is as bilirubin and biliverdin. And then it is having a red pigment, hemoglobin, which carries oxygen. We say oxygen is inhaled in the air, so that oxygen combines with the hemoglobin in the blood, and that is carried to the lungs for exchange, and then it is circulated. So that oxyhemoglobin combination is the presence of hemoglobin pigment. I hope you understand. So this is for the RBC. Whereas WBC, it is somewhat irregular in shape. And this WBC, it is of 5 types, 2 types major as granulocytes and agranulocytes. It is as granulocyte and agranulocytes. Granulocytes are neutrophil. Granulocytes are neutrophil, basophil, and eosinophil. Whereas agranulocytes are lymphocytes. They are lymphocytes and monocytes. Agranulocytes are lymphocytes and monocytes. So I repeat, WBC, size and shape at first it is of 2 types, granulocytes and agranulocytes. Agranulocytes are further neutrophil, basophil and eosinophil. Whereas agranulocytes, they are lymphocytes, structure like this. Lymphocyte and monocyte with the nucleus. Whereas a granulocyte, they have nucleus like this, the blue color shape. It is called lobed nucleus. Okay. In granulocyte, WBC will have nucleus, whereas RBC will not have nucleus. So this WBC will have load nucleus. I hope you understand. Then they are also produced in bone marrow and they are destroyed as pus. They are destroyed as pus. It is an organ. It is a line of defense. It is meant for force of defense. Police force. So the fighting against the diseases, it is produced as pus. So they are destroyed as pus. And the lifespan is normally 3 to 4 weeks. Lifespan is normally 3 to 4 weeks. So yeah. And then it has hemoglobin RBCs, whereas here it is for fighting against the diseases. So it produces antibodies. WBC will produce antibodies. Antibodies antibodies when an antigen or any foreign particle enters into our body, the blood WBC will immediately produce a substance called antibodies to fight against the foreign particle. That foreign particle is antigen. So antibodies are produced by the WBC. I hope you understand. நம்ம இப்போ கொரோனா COVID-19 லாக்டவுனில் இருக்கோம் இல்லையா, நமக்கு இந்த நோய் எதிர்ப்பு சக்தி வரணும்னு சொல்கிறோம் பாரு, அது இந்த WBC ப்ரொடக்ஷன் நம்ம பாடியில் கரெக்டாக இருக்கும். நார்மலாக 3000 to 4000 cells இருக்கணும் ஃபார் அ நார்மல் ஹியூமன் பீயிங். அந்த இதை மெயின்டைன் பண்ணிகிட்டே வரணும். அதான் நோய் எதிர்ப்பு சக்தி, இம்யூனிட்டி இல்லையா. So that is for WBC. Whereas platelets, it is meant for clotting of blood. It is also irregular in shape with the nucleus and with the nucleus and platelets, they take part in clotting of blood. Blood plasma naraya, it has plasma protein, plasma carbohydrate, glucose, amino acids, fibrinogen, then serum, albumin, serum, globulin, and same way, fibrinogen, protein, fibrinogen will combine with the blood platelets that is taking part in blood clot. That is for the solid corpuscles of blood. RBC, red blood corpuscles or erythrocytes, WBC, white blood corpuscles or leukocytes, and blood platelets, normally megakaryocytes. Okay, and then this is the description. Whereas blood plasma, it is having many substances. It is a fluid part having many substances as glucose, amino acids, and serum, albumin, and serum, globulin, the plasma protein, and fibrinogen. Then it has many minerals and ions and meant for metabolism, and it is having waste products eliminated during excretion and also exchange of gases, carbon dioxide and oxygen. Idellame through exchanges through diffusion. Adella taking place through the blood plasma. I hope you understand. So this is for the fluid connective tissue. Whereas lymph, it is having a structure region called lymph node. Lymph is again a fluid portion with the plasma and WBC. And this lymph node, the lymph is circulated along with the blood circulation. Lymphatic system தனியா circulate ஆகுது. Same time இந்த lymph at the neck region, at the armpit, and then the groin region, it has a nodal structure. நோடுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, lymph நோடுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. It is present. இது வந்து lymph node. இதில் வந்து the lymph will be accumulating. சரியா? And then it gets circulated. The more accumulation of this lymph in the nodal region, that causes the நெறிக்கட்டிக்கிறது சொல்லுவாங்க, the mumps மாதிரி வரும், இந்த மாதிரி நெறிக்கட்டிக்கிறது, அது வந்து that is called accumulation of lymph. And there is another disease called elephantiasis. As the filarial worm Vaucheria. When it blocks the lymph node, then person is suffering from the disease called elephantiasis. யானைக்கால் சொல்லுவாங்க, the lymph node உள்ள அசிங்கமாக இந்த worms உட்கார்ந்துருக்கும். It has to be destroyed. அதான் elephantiasis. பட் அவ்வளோ ஈஸி கிடையாது. வந்ததுன்னா it releases many eggs in it and அப்படியே growth பண்ணிகிட்டே இருக்கும். So it has to be avoided. We should be very careful in our cleanliness. சரியா? So that is for the lymph. Now next one is muscular tissue. At the written symbol தான். It is as muscular tissue. It is of three types. One is voluntary or striped or skeletal muscle. Voluntary, striped or skeletal muscle. இன்னொன்று வந்து involuntary or unstriped muscle. Involuntary, unstriped or smooth muscle. Okay. And third one is cardiac muscle. Third one is cardiac muscle. What do you understand? Striped, voluntary muscles are under the control of our willpower, and it is having striations. Black color வரையக்கூடாது, நான் கலர் இல்லை என்னால கலர். சரியா? As these are all muscle fibers and these are called striations. These are called striations. These are nothing but muscle protein. These striations are nothing but muscle protein. Whereas smooth muscle structure like this. It is involuntary muscle with the single nucleus. Okay. And then cardiac muscle, it is as structure like this. Cardiac muscle. Okay. It is also having striations and nucleus. Nucleus இருக்கும், striations. Okay. Now listen. Voluntary muscle or striped muscle or skeletal muscle. It is having striations. So it is called striped muscle. Normally it is meant for with the skeletal framework. So it is skeletal muscle. Now normally these muscles, they are formed of numerous tender fibers. They are called myofibrils. They are known as myofibrils. These myofibrils, they are nothing but muscle protein as myosin, actin, troponin and tropomyosin. Troponin and tropomyosin. சரியா? I am going to refer. Now this muscle they are formed of numerous muscle fibers. They are called myofibrils. Now these myofibrils, they are formed of muscle proteins as actin, myosin, troponin and tropomyosin. So this muscle protein, they contract and relax. By that, the movement of muscle fibers will occur by sliding mechanism. When they contract, they move forward. When they relax, they move to the next position. So by contraction and relaxation, and it is giving flexible, it gives strength and flexibility. Same time, a muscle can be pulled, but we cannot push the muscle. So now when we muscle, we say it moves forward. Yeah? So a muscle can be pulled, but it cannot be pushed. Right? So now this muscle, voluntary muscle, it is formed of striations. So that striation, it has dark and light band. The blue color is the dark band and the light white is the light band. Okay. So by the alternate bands of dark and light, the striations of myofibrils are arranged, and these are also formed of muscle proteins. Okay. As the name says, it is under the control of our willpower. Okay. So this is for the voluntary muscle. Whereas involuntary muscle, it is also called smooth muscle or unstriped muscle. Now this is having a spindle shaped structure. Numerous spindle shaped structure, and each spindle cell with a single nucleus. Almost all internal organs, they are formed of smooth muscle. Okay, those internal organs are lined by smooth muscle, formed of smooth muscle structure. I hope you understand. And it is not under our control of our willpower. So it is involuntary muscle and it has no striations. It is formed of muscle protein, but it has no striations. So it is called smooth muscle. Right? The next one is cardiac muscle, where cardiac muscle, it is present only in the heart. Heart muscles are formed of a specialized muscle called cardiac muscle. It is similar to the structure of voluntary muscle, but for the difference, it has branches. It will be linear, it has branches. So yeah. So when this branch, when it is moving with another branch, this is called intercalated disc. In the portion to be intercalated disc. Because the branch of the mariform is intercalated disc. Okay. Now this cardiac muscle is having a special feature as it can initiate the heartbeat. The rhythmic activity of the heartbeat is initiated by the cardiac muscle. So especially in most of the higher organisms, the heart is myogenic heart. It is called myogenic heart because the heart muscle, cardiac muscle, it is capable of initiating the rhythmic activity of the heartbeat. I hope you are able to follow this. So this is forming the structure of muscle tissue and the types. What are all? Voluntary muscle, involuntary muscle and the cardiac muscle. I hope you are able to follow this. The next one is nervous tissue. Last part of it is nervous tissue. Last part of it is the nervous tissue, where it is also called neurons. Nervous tissue, it is also known as neuron. But this neuron, it is formed of cell body it is formed of cell body or cytosol. And this, 1 minute, we'll just continue. So, this structure of nerve cell, it is also called neuron. This neuron, it is formed of a central cell body or cytosol. And this central cell body of cytosol is having numerous granular structure that is called Nissl granules. That is known as Nissl granules. That is cytoplasm. And then it will have nucleus. Okay. Now this cytosol is giving many branches called dendrons. Cytosol giving branches called dendrons, that in turn giving branches dendrites. That in turn giving branches dendrites. And one of the dendron is forming a branch like this, that is called axon. One of the dendron is branching into long-tailed structure, that is called axon. Now this axon is having outer interrupted cell. Outer layer is not smooth in nature, and that is called neuroderma. Outer layer is not smooth in nature, that is called neuroderma, and inner myelin sheath. Inner layer is myelin sheath. I repeat, the dendron, one of the dendron branching into, emerging out as a long fiber, that is called axon. This axon is of 2 layer. Outer layer is not smooth in nature, that is called neuroderma, and inner layer is called myelin sheath. Okay, and this neuroderma is having constriction in between. That constriction is called nodes of Ranvier. That constriction is called nodes of Ranvier. And this axon is ending in fine nerve endings. It has fine nerve endings, that is called synapses. Fine nerve endings called synapses. Okay, so this is forming the simple structure neuron. So I repeat, cell body or cytosol with the cytoplasm called Nissl granule and central nucleus. Cytosol is giving branches called dendrons. That dendron in turn branching into dendrites. One of the dendron is emerging out as axon. Axon is a double layer, outer neuroderma, not smooth in nature, and inner smooth myelin sheath. And this neuroderma with the constriction, the space between the constriction is called nodes of Ranvier. And this axon ending in fine nerve endings, that is called synapses. And that synaptic region will have endings of myofibrils, muscle fibers, myofibrils, and then blood capillaries as arterioles and venules. So the junction level we have nerve endings, muscle fibril as myofibril, and blood capillaries, arteries and veins. I hope you are able to follow this. So this is forming the structure of neuron. So we have learned animal tissues as epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. Right? And the presentation with the figure on the epithelial tissue, connective tissue proper as areolar connective tissue and adipose tissue, supportive tissue bone and cartilage, dense connective tissue tendon and ligaments. Last part of connective tissue, blood வந்து video session 6, then muscle cell and neuron வந்து we are completing animal tissues. I hope you are able to follow this. So in the summing up, recalling of the lesson-ஐயும் first கொடுத்த உனக்கு வீடியோ செஷனையும் கம்பேர் பண்ணி ரெண்டையும் படிக்கணும். ரெண்டுலேருந்தும் questions வரணும். I hope you understand. Okay, we will continue in the next session. Thank you.